welcome to the 10 Count from Hollywood Smoke in Santa Monica. I'm Steve Kim, joined by the institution Ken Miller and Doug Fischer of Ring TV. Guys, one of the issues with the Pacquiao-Mayweather promotion was the treatment of the media. Now, I found this to be fascinating because we're in the media. I don't know if the fans care, but it seemed to me that certain media members like Michelle Beadle, Rachel Nichols, and Tom Hauser and Martin Rogers, who were critical of Floyd and brought up specific issues as related to his criminal past, domestic violence, were basically blacklisted. You were there on the scene.
I was.
What was it like out there in terms of that particular dynamic?
Well, I know exactly who it is that you're talking about, but Tom Hauser doesn't even show up at a fight unless he's looking for some negative shit, unless he's looking for something that is going to be pulverizing. I mean, that's what he does.
Or if he's there with a particular fighter and he's in their dressing room kind of chronicling the whole thing.
Right, I don't agree with that, Ken. I don't think he's there just to wreck people. I really don't.
Well, look, I've not known Tom Hauser to just show up to look for just writing something as he sees it. That's not what I've known. But here's the other thing.
He doesn't do the standard just fight report or whatever. It's like a whole essay.
The other reporters that you're talking about, they belong to a network that I believe had 150 credentials. I mean, ESPN.
200 actually.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, 200.
I'm talking about just in the arena.
Yeah.
You know, they had more credentials than the law allowed, and these are people who. This is the first fight that they probably ever
and only, maybe.
First and only fight that they ever covered. So this whole stuff about, they were banned, I'm not buying that they were banned. If I don't get a credential to a damn fight, doesn't mean that I'm banned from the fight. It just means I didn't get a credential. But in the names of those people, I do not believe that they did not get a credential. What I do believe is that it wasn't communicated to them or whomever it was that they were approved for a credential.
I think they were blacklisted, and there's actually evidence.
Only because you're blacklisted, so you're gonna believe that they were blacklisted.
But,
you know what I say?
It is what it is.
Welcome to boxing.
Welcome to boxing. Yeah.
It's part of the game. I've been rejected. I've been denied a media credential.
When was the last time that happened?
Bob Arum.
Really?
It was before.
When?
It was given to me by Andy Olson and Magnum Media. Say, hey, you've been credentialed for Manny Pacquiao. Juan Manuel Marquez 3.
Ooh, I want to talk about
that.
And
then maybe 1 or 2 weeks before the fight, I got this call from Andy Olson of Magnum Media. He was very apologetic because I tell you what, I'm one of those members of the boxing media. I don't complain about anything. I really don't. I don't complain if I'm first row among press row or if I'm 8 tables back. I don't care. It's all a good experience as long as I have my laptop, enough table space, and some place to plug in. If I can see the ring, I can write my story. This was during the height of
the Cold War,
the top-ranked Golden Boy Promotions Cold War, and I write for Ring Magazine. I work for Ring Magazine, RingTV.com, which is owned by Golden Boy Promotions. And at that time, Richard Schaefer was the CEO, and he and Bob Arum were like this. And I mean, I've heard a dozen rumors as to the specific reason. Somebody told me that somebody told Bob Arum that Michael Rosenthal and I, the editor of Ring Magazine, were among the people trying to get Nonito Donaire to jump ship from
you
top.
You were the Harriet Tubman?
Yeah, I was trying to sneak in from the top plantation over to the Golden Palace, but I don't do stuff like that or whatever.
Nobody can steal a fighter like Bob, man.
Yeah, but listen, part of me, when I first heard about it, and like I said, Olson was very apologetic, like, Doug, I'm sorry, and for about 30 minutes I was upset, and I was like, I'm going to write about this in my mailbag, I'm going to rip Arum at every turn, and then I just said, you know what, I really wasn't looking forward to going to the fight. I'm kind of sick of Vegas at this point. It's a pain in the ass. I'm married, I got a family now. It's not so easy just to go to Vegas and cover a fight for a few days or whatever. I just said, you know what, I could probably do my job better from home. I took the high road, well, until now. Anyways. Yeah. But you know what? Most people that I know at one time or another, and I'm talking about the old guard, the new old newspaper guys like Michael Katz and the late.
Not the only
who was
one.
the
I'm
guy?
an old newspaper
You are
guy.
an old newspaper guy. You're part
Oh,
of
you
the
look
old
so
guy.
young.
But you're a
You look so
survivor. You're
young,
still
though.
here.
Hanging out with Steve.
Michael Katz is we don't see Michael Katz and Wally
Ron
Matthews
Borges,
and Ron
yeah.
Borges and
John
who's the guy?
Saraceno
Kimball.
resurfaced.
Kimball passed away from
John
Boston.
Saraceno
But you know what?
Those guys had their beefs with various promoters and have been denied credentials.
Our
Now,
job?
they used to fight for it, and the Boxing Writers Association of America used to say, oh, no, you're going to let our boy in or we're going to boycott you altogether, and that would happen. And then they would wind up getting the worst seat in the arena or whatever. But I'm just going to say it's part of boxing.
As far as
This
I'm
is a
concerned,
crazy sport.
Unless you're pissing somebody off once in a while and you're not blacklisted, you're not doing your job. We shouldn't just automatically be a PR
look at it
wing
as a
of
badge
any
of
promotion.
honor.
Yeah. I mean,
Not writing press releases.
I agree.
I have an opinion.
If you want to ban me, I take that as like, wow, you're actually reading. I just think, to me, too many guys, though, actually play the game of then, oh my God, I want to make sure I'm ringside, so I'm not going to say anything. You know what, guys? I'll miss other fights. It is what it is. But are you ever afraid, guys, or hesitant saying, are they trying to actually censor us in any way?
Well, look, personally, I'm not. I mean, I've worked for, almost 40 years for a black newspaper. My focus is always 100% is primarily on the African American subject matter. So I've always had carte blanche when Don King was promoting fights. I think that Floyd Mayweather Promotions has been very sensitive to the African American press. I've never been turned down for a fight with Floyd Mayweather. But I don't think that it's about censorship. Bob Arum, you're friends with Bob Arum, Don King friend with me. I mean, there's a comfort zone that every promoter has with certain people. That's just what it is. I don't think with Mayweather Promotions probably been like more over the top than anything else, and people attribute that to Kelly Swanson. But Kelly Swanson, I mean, she's like the person who's had like this unlimited contract in public relations. I mean, unbelievable run that she's had. Riddick Bowe.
Going back to Riddick Bowe.
Going back from
Bernard
Riddick Bowe,
Hopkins.
I mean,
The
all
late
black
Vernon
fighters.
Forrest.
All black
Yeah.
fighters. So
Yeah.
my big question is, when is one of the black guys going to hire a black guy? Is there any competent?
Tim Smith? Tim Smith?
Yeah,
with
he's
the
on there.
PBC.
There you go.
I'm
He's
part
part of the old guard.
guard.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Tim Smith is the communications director or liaison for the PBC. That's
Steve,
the truth.
Steve, real quickly about censorship. I don't think that they're trying to, Mayweather Promotions or Al Heyman are trying to censor the media. I think they're jumping and seeing who flinches. They're firing shots across the bow and seeing if you back off and get scared. If you get scared, they're like, okay, we got that fool in check. If you stand your ground, though, I don't think they can deny you forever. I mean, they can't block you from everything if you really want to be there, and they can't control what we say or what we write. But if they can have some influence, they're going to try to get
Ron
it, and they're just
Borges,
like, hey, come on,
Doug.
You scared?
Ron Borges
Okay.
gave me some great advice one day because we've all pissed off a fighter or somebody and they said, we're not talking to you. And Ron Borges, this is like way back, he said, Steve, let me just tell you something. They don't have to talk to you. You're right. Can't stop you from talking about them. And that's the God's honest truth. I could rip quotes from a conference call, or I could just do a commentary. And that's the great thing about being on the internet. You could just blog and say, here's 1,000 words that I think about this subject. So I think, to me, more media members and young media members, don't be afraid, be fair, be accurate.
Right.
But part of your job is to be critical. We are observers here. I mean, you can wave the pom-poms. We all do at times. There are times we've got to drop the hammer.
Yeah, and I'll say this. One of the, and there was another established media person sitting next to me ringside. And what's really happened at ringside is that there are a lot of people sitting ringside who are not journalists. I mean, they are these Twitters and they are these bloggers. And I mean, there are a few guys standing behind me openly rooting for
They're fans.
one guy.
Yeah, they're fans. Yeah.
And if that's the one shit that just turns me on.
Ken, you know what's funny? I give them credit. At least they let me know, Steve, don't even come to Vegas. You're out. When I respected that. No, because I heard there were people that planned a trip, airfare, hotel, hoping, and then the other ones where they didn't know where they were going to sit, and then when they got put out in Tent City, Ken can tell you there were a lot of hurt feelings come Friday and Saturday morning.
Yeah, they were hurt initially, but at the end of the day, I think even one of the guys who I know who was in Tent City, he said, you know what, I'm just happy to be a part of this. And something I said on this show right here, either it's something you want to be a part of or you're not going to be a part of it. And I was a part of it, and I'm thankful for that.
And so there it is, Ken Miller, Doug Fischer giving their views. This is Steve Kim. This has been the 10 Count on UCN Live.